Gee.
Hey.
Hey buddy, just watched the last show.
Oh yeah? Are you dosing up?
Joshy. Enjoyed
Are
it.
you binge watching some trendy ass Devers, bro? Podcasters for the win, baby. I like to hear that. Thank you so much for telling me that. It
Sean
made
aka
my
Trendy
afternoon
Orca.
actually.
Hi Nay.
Hey, Sean. How's it going, buddy? Everything is hitting 24-hour highs right now, so I thought I'd go live and bring it to you. Yeah, 24-hour highs across the board. We're about to hit them again and try to retest a couple of Bollinger Bands here. Ethereum hit 1588. Bitcoin hit 19,189. So those are some legit numbers, man. Of some climbing might be going on.
Cheers.
We'll see. Hey, Roger, what's up, buddy? In the meantime, I've got some stories and lore for you and your listening, entertaining pleasure. And I've got a photograph of something I did today, which was pretty cool.
Gee.
If
I
we
loved how you were gonna shut it down, and that thing has keep it opened all the way to 2 and some change.
You loved how I was going to shut it down, and then you guys said hashtag keep it on. Well, that just shows you the power of people actually typing in hashtag keep it open. If you guys will play ball with me, like Nick Brown implores you to, at the end of a show, you wonder why one person says hashtag keep it open at the end of a show, and I still shut it down, man. And while you just sit there, you know, I'm serious about that shit, man. I'd keep going when I say
83.
When I say I'm going, that's the first thing I want to see is some keep it opens. I want to know that people want it to keep going, man. You guys are entertained and you want more. You know? It's like the screaming for an encore at the end of a concert and getting an extra song out of it. You know, that's what hashtag keep it open is. It's an encore. It's you telling me we like it, we want more, or hey man, I was working or I was with my kids or whatever, and I couldn't get here until just now. I would love it if you would do some more time just for me, man, you know? That's what hashtag keep it open is all about. So hashtag play ball, like Sean says, people. And let me know that you appreciate it. Because you could see today how hard it was to get people here for that show when Unholy Rome actually retweeted Big Merc's tweet. That was amazing. Very rare. And I don't think Unholy Rome realizes the power he has. I've never talked to him about it and said, hey, bro, you have a huge following, and when you retweet me, it really helps my numbers on my show. And hey, there we are. We're at the 24-hour high of Harmony 1 right now, 1990. There it is, guys. 24-hour high. There it is. I'm bringing it to you live here. I want you to see these numbers and know that I am bringing it to you as it happens. There's the 1990. And there is the 24-hour high, 1990, right there.
Bra up all day.
Bra up all day. It's like bra up all day. I like that. Bra up. Hey, Cassie. I'm at work. Send help. I don't want to be here. What do you do for work, Cassie? Okay. No law regarding cannabis. Cheers, everybody. It is 7:10, so cheers.
All day. Same lol. Secretary for a small septic installation business.
So you and freaking Oracle are in the same business. He empties portalets. Actually, I don't know what he does. But it involves human shit. Getting ready to test again. Here we go, guys. Getting ready to try to push past this.
Got the quarter panel
This
cut
24.
off. Doing brakes, then cutting the new quarter panel off.
Okay. You're cutting a lot of quarter panels. Okay. New one and the other one. Okay. I don't get it, but okay. 1990.
Cassie. We actually dig the holes and install tanks.
Right on. I too own a septic tank. Ugh, my humor is so bad. No one gets my humor, no one. It's so bad. Luna, once again, is up at 25%. Remember, it was down to something really low yesterday, dude. And I was like, hey, it's down to like 40, and now it's at 47. Yeah, people are making money off this market. It is moving today, pal.
Make sure you add chlorine.
Right? I'll be adding chlorine to the water fountain that I cleaned out today. Hey, we just hit 202 on Bitcoin, guys. Just hit another 24-hour high on Bitcoin. 19,202. We just hit it. We just hit it. So there it is, 19,202. And it's going to try to retest again.
All day.
Brap,
you get a whole quarter of a car and cut off the part I need.
Oh, I see. You're cutting it off of another car. I gotcha. So, I was checking in with some of the tweets from some of my fellow podcasters and noticing a decline in the attention some of them are getting.
Aye, Parsy Wazzy.
Hi, Palsy Walsy. What's up there, buddy? And I just want to say, man, podcasting is a dying breed, man. Podcasters are a dying breed. And, support your local podcaster. Support your favorite podcaster. Because, and by supporting, I mean, watch them. Show up and be there for them.
Lapland.
Hi, Destiny.
Hey, y'all.
Hey. Because you can make or break their shows, man. You'd be surprised. I was on one of my other channels. They claimed it was misinformation. I appealed the strike and they declined the appeal, man. I'm like, really? Because that's bullshit. If you want to sit down and I'll show you the parts and you could tell me where I'm being a misinformant. And I'm not. Of course I'm not being a misinformant. PG&E alert, extreme heat is straining California's grid. Save energy from 4 to 9 p.m. It was 4 to 8. Now it's 4 to 9 to prevent outages. Learn more. Flex alert.
YouTube
Flex
makes
this.
It rules as it goes along.
Hey, PG&E, flex this. Yeah. Algorithms must hate that. Flex this. Flex this. What? Algorithms are short-circuiting right now. That's what I do, man. I short-circuit algorithms with my lingo and my code that I employ.
Why you Beaslin 420 Taurus.
I stifle them.
Flexible son.
YouTube makes its rules as it goes along. Bro, I'm like, I haven't watched that video yet to see what the medical misinfo is. I think they said it was medical misinformation. Or it could have been election misinformation. I didn't catch what they were saying it was. Oh, there was definitely some election misinformation, but I was correcting it all. I was like, yeah, Donald Trump is lying about this, obviously. I was right there correcting it. I got to show the footage so I can comment on it. Hey, man, you don't do it to Jimmy Dore. You don't do it to fucking CNBC or fucking, Fox News when they do it. You fucking hypocritical mother effers. There, short-circuiting that algorithm again right now. I was out there in the heat, man. I was feeling it, you know. But I had a garden hose with me, and I would take drinks from it. And at the end, when I was all done, I took the garden hose and I ran it over the back of my neck and my head, and all over my body, and I washed my face off and while I was staying out there. And even in that extreme heat, it felt so damn good. I was like, oh man. So I achieved. Actually, I could probably pull it up. I think I put it on my IG. So those of you that follow my Instagram, yeah, man. Look at this. Look at that. That's what I did today. That pond was full of muck, black pine needles and pine chips, leaves, and dirt.
420
And I emptied the whole thing out. I back flushed it, the entire pump system. I cleaned out the filter, everything, bro. And I put nice clean water. Bro, that water is so clean right there in that picture. You can literally see the sand on the bottom of the tank. There's some sand in there still. And you can literally see the sand. You see it? See that yellowish color? That's sand at the bottom of the tank. That's how clear that water is. Yeah, isn't that amazing? You could drink that water right there. So I kicked ass on that thing today, and it looks better than it's looked since I got here. But it's just, I had to get to it. There's just so much to do around here. And I'm just, I'm on it.
Very nice, that is super clear water.
Yeah? You like that shit? Pretty cool, huh? Man, I was out there in that sun, and I am telling you guys, I literally today, while I was working, I had to step into the shade multiple times so I wouldn't cook out there. Now, once again, I'm going to ask my audience. I don't get a lot of responses from you guys. But literally, as I sit here in my home and I do this broadcast, I'm affected by climate change. We have never had heat like this before. It's just coming through the walls. I've never experienced this before. Is anybody else experiencing the effects of climate change yet? Besides me? 3 of you, I think, responded the last time I asked you guys. And I'm going to keep asking until finally we get a response from everyone in the chat saying, yeah, it's affected me. Because I don't know whether you guys realize this, but it has affected you. Whether you might live in a very comfortable area and not realize it. Oh, but I guarantee you it's affected you in a way that you don't realize. But usually it should be something that you're actually aware of. Like, my power bill's more expensive. Anybody's power bill seem to be going up?
Climate change is real. It's hard on
the AC? Oh, Orca gets it.
Destiny Lapland.
He said that before. He typed that before I said it. It's crazy hot. Yeah, anybody's power bill going up? Your water bill's going up? Using more water? You're seeing more evaporation in things like ponds that you might have around the home, or a pool, or a fountain. For some reason, I have to fill it more often now.
Lapland.
Oh, Destiny's power bill went up $100.
Pam Cricky.
Pam, what's up, Pam?
I can't handle being outside anymore. Our power bill doubled the month of August.
Doubled in August. Well, there you go.
Stella Lewis.
Hi, Stella.
Greetings, Nay.
Climate change sucks.
Climate change sucks.
Yes, it's exquisitely hot outside. It is acutely hot outside. It's like, I'm just wondering how many other people are not noticing it yet. And you guys know what happened in Pakistan. There is a flood. It has flooded a third of the country. And those people need help. And we're sending...
Gee. Is it possible that because you haven't lived there for a while, you might just be experiencing the 10+ years of climate change and it hits you harder? I definitely notice it to be so hot, but Enoch YU Beaslin 420 Tares. My buddy's light bill went from $120 to $350.
Wow,
Shorley
Enoch.
Ka Trendy Orca. Pakistan turned into SeaWorld. Josh G. Not anything crazier than last summer, but it's definitely hotter than when I was a kid.
No, Josh, because all my friends in California are telling me that it's scorching hot. I literally just told you I got a message from the state of California telling me to shut off my power. Dude, that's from California, bro. PG&E, extreme heat is straining California's grid. Save energy from 4 to 9 p.m. to prevent outages. That just came through. Look, there's the time. At 3:17, and it's 3:25 right now. Were you here when that message came through, bro? It literally just happened live on the show. That's fucking climate change happening live right now, guys. And if you're not realizing it yet, you might be in for a rude awakening if you're not starting to get ready for it. You know, just because you're in the back of the train and the front is crashing right now into a mountainside doesn't mean that as each car slowly falls off that fucking bridge that it's on, ain't gonna affect your car in the back. You're connected to all those other cars. Remember that.
It's affected everything. From food to medical bills, local tax and property taxes, lights, etc. The list goes on. Fertilizer and grow supplies
Hitting in
are
your
ridiculous.
pockets, right, Caliana?
Frankino89.
Hey, Frankino.
Hey, nay. Shorley Ka Trendy Orca. Live climate change proven by nay. Frankino89 IT. Have
Thank
you
you,
seen
Stella.
the iPhone 14?
Thank you for complimenting
Josh
my
G.
analogy.
That's a good analogy. Stella Lewis. Excellent analogy, nay.
Imagine all those people in the back of the train that don't know what's going on yet, you know? Have no idea. Oh, everything's fine. They're having their tea. You know, front of the train is falling off the fucking tracks, and they don't even know it yet. And that might be you. You know, it's not me. I was near the front of the train. Let me tell you, when those fires hit California for the past 10 years, I've been in it. I've been living it. It's been a nightmare. So for those of you who think I moved to Florida and, got away from it, man, it's horrible here too, man. I'm telling you, I'm just out trying to do some weed pulling outside in my yard. I literally have to go to strategic areas in my yard that are in the shade and work in those areas at certain times. Yeah. I see weeds out in the direct sunlight, and I'm like, I can't do that right now. I'm still trying to cool off. It's that bad. So, I think it's so important that you see this. Right now, I can't think of how to word this. It is
Aranide. Hottest summer in Par I can remember. And last winter was the shortest, totaling maybe 30 of snowfall throughout the entire winter.
It is just as relevant today, if not more so. It's not way more relevant today than it was when Thunderfoot first put this out. Okay?
That heat is lethal. Take this shit seriously.
And that wasn't necessarily a dumb thing to do. We get a lot of bang for the buck out of that. Gas, hydrocarbons are basically the best chemical energy storage system on the planet. And all you got to do is dig it out of the ground already here. And it's not going to case, it's already here.
Growing up would get 24 of snow for a winter or more.
For hundreds of years, all the time sucking in 10 times more energy than the entire energy production of mankind. Now, if it's that big, I hear you ask, why isn't it more pronounced? Well, it turns out that while it's giant compared to the entire energy production of mankind, on a planetary scale, it's fairly modest. And it's becoming. In this case, it's already here. And it's not going to go away. It's going to be here for hundreds of years.
Do you understand that? This guy's a
Sean
fucking
aka 20
scientist,
Orca.
man. He studies shit.
We
He has
have
a
had high
really
school
good
football players die
understanding
from head stroke. Stay hydrated and
of
stay as
the
cool as
work that other
possible.
scientists do. And he's literally telling you way back when
Stay
this
fishing.
was that it's not going to cool down
about
and
that
it's
flash
only
storm?
getting hotter. And what he said on this show was that this 10-year period will be the hottest 10 years on record. And every 10 years from now on until mankind is extinct will be the hottest 10 years on record. So it's only going to be hotter and hotter and hotter. There might be years that cool down a little bit on the way up, but it doesn't matter. They're still going to be the hottest 10 years on record every 10 years. So imagine that kind of, look at that picture right there. Imagine that kind of relentlessness that you have no recourse with any of this. We're not stopping this.
It's already here. It to the moon. We got a lot of bang for the buck out of that gas. But like any party where you overconsume, there's a hangover coming. In this case, it's already here. And it's not going to go away. It's going to be here for hundreds of years. All
Let's
the
beat a
time,
guitar
sucking
jam.
in 10
Moo.
times more
Moo.
energy than the entire energy production of mankind. Now, if it's that big, I hear you ask, why isn't it more pronounced? Well, it turns out that while it's giant compared to the entire energy production of mankind, on a planetary scale, it's fairly modest. All of global warming constitutes basically a 1,000th increase in the energy that the Earth gets from the sun. So great, why don't we just pull out carbon dioxide out of the air by planting lots of trees? Well, there was actually a giant collaboration on YouTube recently that tried doing that.
You might be asking yourself, what would planting 20 million new trees do for the planet?
Okay.
Well,
I hear you now.
turns out if you go through the numbers, just to
Hey,
make the
bro.
US carbon neutral, you would have to plant about 20 million trees twice
Wonderful.
per day.
Yeah.
And that's assuming they magically grow up to full height in a single day. And that's just to get the US back to being carbon neutral. It does nothing to reduce the carbon dioxide currently in the atmosphere.
See, so that right there, you guys, is so important because so many people tried to sell you on this empty promise that they were going to plant these trees and it was going to save the world and it was going to save the planet. It was going to reverse climate change. And all they had to do was get money from you so they could put these trees in the ground. And they put the trees in the ground. And what was it that Thunderfoot said? He said those trees aren't going to be producing. They're not going to be doing what they're supposed to do, what they claim they're going to do as soon as they put them in the ground for 40 freaking years, man. You know, not only that, but they're not putting enough trees in the ground to do it. And you need to listen to this part. It's so important that you freaking listen to what he's saying right here, because as many times as I played this, it's like I will talk to people in the audience about it later and whatever, and it's like people don't grasp these concepts. It's nobody wants to just accept these simple facts. So listen to this one more time, okay?
Josh G. Plant your
The
own trees. People
inconvenient
for
truth.
giving a corp money to do it. They rip out 3 trees for every one they plant.
Well, the trees aren't going to fix anything anyway. So, telling people to plant trees, it's not going to help anything anyway, Josh. Not going to fix the world. Planting trees isn't going to save anything.
Just
Here, listen,
the US
listen.
carbon neutral, you would have to plant about 20 million trees twice per day. And that
Do you hear that? So he's saying you'd have to plant 40 million trees every day. That's what you'd have to do. And those trees would have to be 40 feet tall, ready to go.
That's assuming they magically grow up to full height in a single day. And that's just to get the US back to being carbon neutral. It does nothing to reduce the carbon dioxide currently in the atmosphere. You know, that extra stuff that it took the entire
Yeah, and planting trees does nothing to stop the polluting that we're currently doing. Nothing. It doesn't stop it. It keeps pouring out into the atmosphere, and we'll plant some trees. We'll plan our way out of this.
Kind 100 years of burning
Steve-O
fossil fuels.
Virtuoso.
Hey, Steve-O.
And
hemp produces better air and better wood. Steve-O Virtuoso. Faster.
Yeah, not enough to save the planet, though, bro. Unfortunately.
They put the best part of $20 million into this. However, even with forests,
planting hemp doesn't make the oil companies stop polluting either.
Trees in the USA alone, with massive die-offs on the Great Barrier Reef, there are still people at the highest levels of government saying that there's no such thing as global warming, that it's all just a big hoax.
All of this with the global warming and that, a lot of it's a hoax.
See, this is what's going to get me in trouble. Now, here I am, YouTube, once again saying, this is not true. This man is a liar. Sometimes I can't control some of the things that are said on my show. And let me just tell you this also, YouTube. You guys really suck for persecuting podcasters when we put clips up like this on our shows. It really sucks, and you're persecuting podcasters, and you need to stop doing it. You better hope one of us doesn't get a lawyer and sue your ass. You better freaking hope. Because, yeah, we are a large group. Podcasters are a large group, and we're being subverted, and we're being discriminated against.
Yeah, I hear you. Telling people not to plant
If
is
only
silly,
there were a way to
We're
counter
running out of food
global
forward
warming
slash
denialists
agriculturally
like
usually land should we just stop growing food. Emma be planting my trees fuck it lol. Josh G. Usable asterisk.
Josh, how much energy are you going to be spending on planting trees that does absolutely nothing for you exactly? Yeah, it's silly. You're right. It is silly to tell people to plant trees. You're asking me, isn't it? No, it's not. It's not. The way you word it. Telling people not to plant trees is silly, isn't it? No. You shouldn't waste your time, your effort, or your energy. Those trees aren't going to do anything. It's like, Josh, you don't fucking hear anything that's being said on screen right now. And this is exactly what I was talking about when I started playing this. Again, this is the 100th time I played this video on this live stream. And people like Josh G still don't get it. They will sit here and they will watch it. They'll watch the science. They'll listen to everything that's being said. And still, oh, well, yeah, it's silly to tell people not to plant trees. What? Listen, dude. Listen to the freaking science, dude.
Yes. And at the
Totally
same
agree,
time,
Nay, you're right,
fund
YouTube.
climate
You know,
change
the best way to
research.
word that is
Podcasters,
it's silly to
it
tell
doesn't
people
like for
that
whatever
you going
reason
out
they
and planting
come up
trees
with.
is somehow going to save our lives. Yeah, it's silly and it's stupid. It's a waste of time, money, and energy and effort and something that's not going to change anything. You want to go plant a garden and feed yourself? That's not a fucking tree, dude. You want to grow cannabis? That's not a tree, dude. You know, you're talking about agriculture and vegetables and shit. That's not planting a fucking oak tree in the ground. Those are two totally different things. It's apples to fucking, orangutans, as far as I'm
Climate
concerned.
change solutions.
Bottom of the hour.
Well,
Cheers, everybody.
there
No law regarding
is.
cannabis.
If there is no global warming, as Trump was stating here, then the planetary temperature would look something like this over the last 100 or so years.
What an impact that would make.
I'm not denying climate change, but it could very well
Sean
go back.
AKA
We're
20
talking
Orca.
about over
That's
millions
denying
of
it.
years.
That
Josh
is, the
G listen
chances
to the
of
science, not
next year
propaganda.
being
Nay
one
is
of the
about
hottest
science,
top
not
10
bullshit
on
planting
record would be
trees.
about 10 divided by
Steve-O
the total
Virtuoso.
number of years on record.
Oxygen
which
has
is, give or
already
take,
been
100.
low. We're breathing thin air. Josh G. Okay, fair.
So, Josh, what I want you to do is pay attention to what he's saying. I want you to listen to what he's saying right now, okay? Because he's saying it right now. If there's no global warming, chances of next year being one of the hottest top 10 on record, right,
Josh
is
G.
probably really high.
Sage advice, Sean Law.
150, that sort of thing. But to make it simple, let's just say there are 100 years where we have good records. So the chances of a year being in the hottest top 10 on record is about 1 in 10, about 10%. In reality, it looks like this. In fact, there hasn't been a single year in the last 35 years which hasn't been one of the hottest top 10 years on record. Well, the planetary temperature fluctuates a little, yeah, so maybe this just happened by chance. Well, we can do a rough calculation for that. The chances of any one particular year being one of the hottest 10 on record is about 10%. So the chance of that happening 2 years in a row is about 1 in 100. 3 years is about 1 in 1,000, and so forth. The chances of that happening for 35 years in a row is about 1 in a billion, 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 if there is no such thing as global warming. So here's the wager. You bet $20 million with, say, the world's biggest global warming denier, that next year will be one of the hottest top 10 years on record. If he's right, then it's free money for him. If he
Steve-O
really
Virtuoso.
believes what he's saying, that there is no
I got
such
some 100 an ounce stuff Mr. Nay laugh out loud and some 150 an ounce lime green let's get lit.
Okay, Steve-O, sounds good, buddy.
thing as global warming. The temperature might just go down again. Then it's free money for him. He has a 90% chance of winning. However, if global warming is real, then he has a 99% chance of losing. Now, I know about this time, a lot of you will be spotting the weak point in this plan. You don't have $20 million to make such a bet. No. But YouTube, hell, Google does. For them, this would be chump change. And let's be real, kind of positive PR. The $20 million challenge. That next year will be one of the hottest top 10 years on record. Make it an annual thing. 20 million in 2020. 21 million.
All those people ever do is deny that science is true, that they're not getting accurate global readings. That's all they're going to do. You know, it's like, I know that mentality. And if people are so easily convinced that, you know, they're somehow being fooled by the Chinese government, you basically, you're not going to be able to make any headway with them. You know, they're beyond reproach, I think would be the right way to say it. They're beyond reaching. They're beyond convincing of something that is real. When you can provide them with, you know, NASA science, you literally just collect all the satellite imagery, all of the temperatures, and you just show them all the data, and they'll say, that's not accurate. That's for some reason. That's not blah, blah, blah. Like that Chris Mars weather guy. Some of you might remember that guy on Twitter. There was no way you were going to convince him that it was getting any hotter. He would always take areas around the world where the temperature was cooler and say, oh, look at this one area right here. They got an all-time low. And you're like, yeah, well, look at Death Valley. It's an all-time high. Look at Sacramento. It's an all-time high. You know, look at New Mexico, all-time high. Look at Nevada, all-time high. Look at Arizona, all-time high. You know, at some point, you know, look at Florida. I bet we got all-time highs here too. At some point, you know, he's going to run out of fucking states. And then when that happens,
Antarctica is fucking melting away. I mean,
you have to, at that point, Cyber, you have to kind of wonder, hey, what exactly will his story be then? Because he's not going to say, when every state is now at its all-time high and it's provable, he's going to say something else like, oh, well, you know, it's a cycle and it's all going to change. Like, you know, this.
That, yeah, that there's no doubt about global warming is a cycle, but that global warming we have right now is 100% caused by fucking humans and the pollution.
Goddamn
there's
right.
No doubt about it.
Oh, goddamn right. Goddamn right. And we're making it worse, dude. We're killing off the ocean. We're melting the fucking, glaciers, you know, the ice cap, the polar caps, we're melting them, where the sea level is going to come up.
Dave sea fishing.
And get more acidic. The ocean's going to get acidic. All the
just
coral's going to
normal part of
die.
life.
This lady's breeding coral so that she can put it in an acidic ocean, and it's going to die too. It's going to bleach and die too. What makes her think her coral's not going to die? It's hotter and it's more acidic. There's more plastic, microplastic in there. It's choking out your I'm sure the little follicles, the little holes, sphericals, whatever they call them, that these little that the coral uses. You know, I guarantee you those microplastics are getting in there and fucking that shit up.
Oh yeah.
And then we've got the acidity of that ocean, and then we've got India just dumping garbage, just straight dumping garbage straight into the ocean. You know, we've got America fucking oil spilling into the ocean.
Brought up all day. Are you near Leesburg, FL?
I'm like probably an hour and a half from Leesburg, I think. I'm in Orlando, bro. I'm in Orlando. I'm in the middle of the state. If you threw a dart at the state of Florida and hit it in the middle, you'd probably hit my fucking house. All right. No law regarding cannabis. It's quarter of the hour, Cyber. Are you ready to smoke?
I am.
Smoky, smoky time. Cheers.
Smoky, smoky. Cheers.
Brought up all day. My buddy might be moving there. He flew into Orlando. Josh
Right
G. Nay, did you see the video of Jackson on Tucker?
Oh my God. Jackson Hinkle got invited onto Fox News. Are you kidding me, dude? Oh my God, no. This is the first I've heard of this, bro.
Josh G. Yeah, he just uploaded it maybe 2 hours ago.
16 hours ago. Holy shit.
This dystopian state and this dystopian reality on this earth, and I'm very grateful that the Tucker Carlson Tonight team invited me on. Thank you, and thank you for also allowing me to speak my mind, because YouTube, my platform, will not allow me to do that, but Tucker will. We spoke freely and we said what needed to be said. So without further ado, here is the video of me on Tucker Carlson Tonight, talking about Ukraine, talking about Biden, talking actually about one of the most probably monumental and memorable moments of not just Joe Biden's presidency, but any presidency in American history. I mean, this is completely dystopian. It's the most divisive speech I've ever seen a president give. And to be invited on Tucker to discuss this, be that person, was...
Yeah, it was. Joe Biden made a huge mistake in doing what he did. He made a huge mistake. It was stupid. Saying MAGA Republicans, like I said, he sounded like a fucking 3-year-old. And it was fucking stupid. It's not a place for a president to speak like that and separate, political parties like that. It's like when Hillary Clinton said basket of deplorables. Basket of deplorables is equivalent to MAGA Republicans. It's the exact same thing. So all of the bad press that Hillary Clinton got for saying basket of deplorables, Joe Biden will get just as much bad press for when he said MAGA Republicans. So stupid.
Very, very incredible. So here you go. Me, Jackson.
Josh, thanks for pointing this out to me, bro.
I didn't think I'd ever be saying. Here you go. And let me know how
Josh,
the audio
you're
is
the
in the
man,
chat.
man.
I'm going to look at the chat. I think
Planting
it's going to work,
trees and
but
shit,
just let me
son.
know, okay? And I'll probably pull it up here just so I can hear it a little bit. All right, here you go.
In the meantime, we turn to Jackson Hinkle. He's the host of The Dive with Jackson Hinkle on YouTube. He joins us now. Jackson, thanks so much for coming on. So there's something really... Look, I understand people are partisan on TV. There's a lot of pressure to take your side. But for Biden to get up there and say the single biggest threat to our country is anyone who opposes me in the coming midterm elections, and the media to nod along, makes you think we've crossed some kind of line.
Wait, what was the question?
Country is anyone who opposes me in the coming midterm elections. And Jackson Hinckley's the host of the Dive with Jackson Hinckley on YouTube. He joins us now.
He says
Jackson,
it so
thanks
fast.
so much for coming on. So there's something really, look, I understand people are partisan on TV. There's a lot of pressure to take your side. But for Biden to get up there and say the single biggest threat to our country is anyone who opposes me in the coming midterm elections. And
hey, man, I thought the single biggest threat to our country was climate change. Did that stop now? Huh, that's funny. Weird. But that's exactly what Barack Obama said years ago. Has climate change let up? Oh, wow. Biden fixed climate change, everybody. Woohoo!
And the media to nod along makes you think we've crossed some kind of line.
We have crossed the line, Tucker, and it's so interesting that, anyone in the media today would be saying that they liked what Joe Biden said in that speech because it was a dictator-inspired speech. Not only that, but it seems like a lot of the practices and the actions that the Biden administration is employing in the United States right now that were reflected in that speech are very closely aligned with what the dictator Zelensky is doing in Ukraine. Joe Biden is plunging us into a fascist state, and he is taking cues from what Zelensky is doing in Ukraine to manufacture this dystopian state and this dystopian reality in America. And there's no real surprise for me there, because at the end of the day, Volodymyr Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, and Joe Biden are controlled by the same exact people. They're controlled by individuals like George Soros and controlled by people like Klaus Schwab at the World Economic Forum, and they're going to do whatever they want. To put it quite simply, Zelensky is using the intelligence community in Ukraine and the Nazi Azov thugs in Ukraine to silence freedom-loving Ukrainians. Joe Biden in the United States, though he can't remember what he had for breakfast this morning or who his wife is, his handlers and his cronies are prepping the CIA, the FBI, Antifa, the IRS, and now Ministry of Truth to attack freedom-loving Americans.
Maybe someone should have, in the opposition party, the one he's calling effectively illegal, should have paused before funding this insanity in Ukraine, which is tanking our economy and making a mockery of democracy, before signing off on it and just putting Ukrainian flag lapel pins on and nodding dutifully to Joe Biden. Why didn't anyone do that?
You'd think that they do that, but so many of these individuals in Washington, D.C., the neoconservatives, the rhinos, and the entire Democratic Party are beholden to the military-industrial complex. And that is extremely out of line with what average Americans need right now. We don't have clean drinking water in Jackson, Mississippi, yet we're sending $7 billion over to Ukraine, a country that I'm sure most of these Congress people couldn't even point to on a map. It's insane. The White House this week, Tucker, I'm sure you saw, came out and said that anyone who doesn't hold an opinion reflected by the majority of the American public is extreme and therefore an extremist. Well, what does that make Joe Biden? Only 38% of Americans, if you believe the polls and what they tell us, if you believe they're that high, only 38% of Americans agree with Joe Biden. So by the White House's own definition, that makes him an extremist.
Yeah. And so much for minority rights also. I mean, I thought you were allowed to disagree. This really is quite a moment we're living through. Jackson Hinkle, thanks so much.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Well. The day has finally come. Again, thank you to Tucker for having me on. What'd you guys think? Let me know in the live chat. Let me know in the comment section below what you think about that. First appearance on Tucker Carlson. Hopefully, they liked what they heard and saw and get to come on again. I'm sure we definitely upset some people in high positions by calling Zelensky, dictator Zelensky. Joe Biden's controlled by George Soros and Klaus Schwab. Everyone knows this. What'd you guys think? Let me know.
Chat's going crazy.
I see a lot of positive comments, so I'm going to take that as a good sign. Yes. Thank you guys so much for all the kind words. What a night. What a night. Now I'm going to tell you that clip is pinned on my Twitter profile. I would appreciate if you could go share it. I'll link that in the description of this video below in the description and in the live and the comment section. Go share that video. You know, everyone should see the truth. Everyone should see what's really going on in the world. And I think that while we just did it, Tucker Carlson is the #1 news show, not only in the United States, but in the world. He broadcasts nightly, weeknights, to, I think on average, 3.2 million people. So incredible opportunity. I hope that I did you all a service, you know, of getting the truth out there and the, you know, something you'd like.
That's awesome, man. That's fucking awesome. Fox News. Maybe they'll have me and Jackson on to debate each other on some shit that he believes.
Bright Drive. Sup?
Billy! What's up, buddy? More U.S. cities have to boil water? Really? Where? What? What's going on?
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Moment of Clarity. Because I was not joined by the amazing Eleanor Goldfield on this past Saturday, she is here with me now. Also, because we are both sick and both feel like dog shit, the hope was that each of us having half a brain may combine to form a...
Do you think they have COVID, these two?
A single human brain. That's the goal, the hope, the dream.
Yeah.
Are you in the stream with me or no? Am I going the stream alone?
I'm in a parallel dream. My dream's a little different.
Josh,
well, welcome everybody.
I
More
thought it was
U.S.
funny when
cities
he
are
used the White
facing
House's
water.
definition to describe Biden as an extremist.
Yeah, it was funny. Well, I don't know about used the White House. He used the polling numbers of people. He said it was like there's such a low amount of people that support his administration right now that he's like an extremist. I don't know what you mean by he used the White House.
Boiling advisories, which we'll get into in 1 minute. I just want to remind everybody, first, so we're also, because we are, not at 100%.
Bright Drive.
I'm at like, and Eleanor will be opening the stuff.
Looks like it.
Click schedule has all. You would have won it. Well, Baltimore's the one that just happened.
So, I just want to start off by pointing out that Baltimore. So it's West Baltimore.
Okay, Baltimore.
And excuse me. And Jackson, Mississippi, have roughly the same percentage.
810 U.S.
Bright
areas.
Okay, yeah. So now Baltimore too. There you go. From Lee Camp. From the Lee Camp. I like to say that because I think I'm witty. When was this? November 23rd, 2019. We can get to 2019 pretty quick. He doesn't put out videos that often. 3 years ago. Here we go. Dumbest climate change denier ever. This was one where he spoke about that. I remember that.
Josh G. The White House said an extremist is someone who doesn't agree with the majority of America. I got what he was saying. You just said it better.
About a decade ago, there was a statement made by a creationist that was so stupid, it really got me into making videos on YouTube. That statement was,
Scientists have been desperately trying to find water on other planets. However, the search is futile.
Now, the reason this is dumb, of course, is water is the second most abundant molecule in the universe. It occurs all over our solar system.
There was the Mars Global Surveyor probe, which has found evidence that water has been flowing on Mars within the last 5 years. Then, of course, there's the Mars Express probe, which has taken pictures of water ice on Mars and revealed massive deposits of water ice under the Martian poles. Then there's the Cassini-Huygens probe that has taken pictures of water ice on Titan. 3 of the 4 large Jovian moons are composed mostly of water. It is likely that Europa has oceans under the frozen surface created by tidal heating from Jupiter. Similarly with Ganymede and Callisto. Almost all the moons of Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune are ice balls too, as are most of the comets. It's difficult to contrive that anyone can make a more uneducated statement on the status of water in the solar system than
Scientists have been desperately trying to find water on other planets. However, the search is futile.
So someone sent me this tweet from Steve Malloy from a Twitter handle called Junk Science, co-founder of burnmorecoal.com. Trump EPA transition team. Yeah, I think you can see where this is going. And Fox News contributor, author of the book called Scare Pollution, How to Fix the EPA, with a poor little innocent child forced to wear a gas mask in clear blue skies.
Oh, you're saying it was the White House's definition of what an extremist is? Is that what you're saying? Yeah.
Bright Drive.
More than words out loud in public.
Easy feels. Yeah, like there's never been a
public.
reason to pass pollution laws. You know, there was never anything like the London smog, which killed hundreds of people a day. There was never any acid rain caused by the coal-burning power plants. There was no need for all of that CFC regulation that stopped these chlorofluorocarbons from depleting the ozone layer. Yeah, you know this tweet is going to set records for stupidity. This is an existential threat to the future of our planet. Insanity, he tweets. For comparison, the atmosphere of Venus is 96.5% carbon dioxide, and the planet's still there. In contrast, the Earth's atmosphere is only 0.04% carbon dioxide. Well, let's start with the obvious. There's no life on Venus. The reason there's no life on Venus is because of a runaway greenhouse effect. Look, let me make this simple.
That's funny.
Imagine that you've got a planet with no atmosphere, and it's a fixed distance from a constant candle light source. Say, for instance, the sun. At a certain distance, you're going to get a certain surface temperature, and the further away you get from the sun, the cooler your planet's going to be. And that's what this theoretical curve looks like. The surface temperature of Venus should be a somewhat toasty 80 degrees Celsius. Good temperature for making tea.
Hey, it's top of the hour.
But
Time to
it's
smoke.
not
No longer regarding
a
cannabis. Cheers.
toasty 80 degrees Celsius. It's a rather toasty 400 degrees Celsius, more a temperature suitable for smelting lead. And the reason for that is a runaway greenhouse effect. The surface temperature is about 300 degrees hotter than you would otherwise expect. Look, this isn't even open for discussion. We know from satellite measurements that the carbon dioxide increase in the atmosphere is causing the Earth to radiate less energy into space than it used to. So inevitably, with any system where you've got more energy coming into the system than is going out from the system, it's going to get hotter. This is the reason why kettles get hotter when you turn them on, because you're putting more energy into them than they're radiating away. And this is the reason that something like 8 out of the 10 hottest years in recorded human history have occurred in the last decade. And every single one of the top 10 hottest years on record has occurred in the last 20 years.
Obama's talking about
Now, I have to talk over this so the algorithm doesn't hear what this moron says.
Skepticism at least 115 times.
It's like denying that putting energy into the kettle.
Hey,
is
YouTube
the
algorithms.
reason
Donald Trump
that
is a
the
liar
kettle
and he's
is
wrong about
warming
climate.
up.
All right? There, he's debunked.
It's just a
Don't
coincidence.
persecute
it's
me.
Just a hoax.
Bastards.
And what do you get from the skeptics? Oh, trigger the libs, own the libs. And, oh, wouldn't it be great if we could get Trump to tweet about Gamergate 2.0? Yeah, damn those educated elites and their ability to read graphs and understand energy balance. Now, climate change is real and it's not going to go away. And the consequences are just going to get progressively more and more obvious, with one of the most important ones being the changes in the water patterns of the earth we live on. People follow the water. They must do, because without it, people die within a few days. This is one of the reasons why people can't live very long in the desert. Further, if you have no stable water supply, then you can't grow crops. You can't grow food. Now, the simple reality is we are the generation of plenty. We've never experienced hunger. We've never experienced lack of food. We've never seen a supermarket that looks like this. But seriously, look back into history. Historically, one failed crop, and all of a sudden you realize just how slender the thread we all hang by is. This is one of the reasons why people mostly follow the water, and therein is your biggest threat from climate change. Changes in the water pattern. As just one example, the glaciers melting isn't just that's a kind of curiosity we're going to lose type thing. There is a huge amount of water stored there. So what typically happens is during the winter, snow falls on the mountains, and in the summer, most of it progressively melts off. It essentially provides a water storage system, a water buffer for the rest of the year when you might need that water. And in drought years, that buffer becomes doubly important. Now, of course, if there is no snow on the mountains in winter, you don't get those glaciers, and that buffer is gone. You get no extra water for the rest of the year. One good drought and you're in serious trouble. Now, if you're rich, of course, that's probably not that big of a deal because you can just move somewhere where there's water. If you're poor, however, you're kind of screwed. You can't just move thousands of miles to get some water. And as from a Nature paper stated from 2005, with more than 1/6 of the Earth's population relying on glaciers or seasonal snowpack for their water supply, the consequences of these hydrological changes for future water availability, predicted with high confidence, are already diagnosed in some regions, are likely to be severe. In fact, this was one of my ideas that I never quite got around to this year, was to make a bet with a leading climate denier for, say, 1 kilo of gold. That's about $40,000. Yeah, sure, that's a lot of money for me. But then again, this is an important issue for the planet.
By the way, there was a complete and total dead stop.
I wonder what a kilo of gold is worth today. Okay, Google. What's the value of a kilo of gold today?
$54,783.60, according to some information I found on Monix.
It's gone way up since then, man. Holy shit. You were holding gold back then when this video was made? Now, this is Steven Crowder denying climate change, and I'll get in trouble for playing this on YouTube.
Human history. Of course, if it had actually bothered to check, he would have found that 2015
he's a fucking liar and he lies to his audience.
Previously been
the
hottest year in recorded human history. And even if he hadn't been paying attention to that, it was the hottest January in recorded history. It was the hottest February in recorded history. It was the hottest March in recorded history, the hottest April, the hottest May, the hottest June, the hottest July, and the hottest August in recorded human history.
By the way, there was a complete and total dead stop to all global warming for over 15 years, and rather than readjust their models, current climate scientists employed by your tax dollars simply chalk it up to being the pause.
So the bet would go along these lines, that I bet you 1 kilo of gold that this year will be one of the hottest 10 years in recorded human history. Now, if there is no climate change, you would expect to have about a 9 in 10 chance of losing that bet. However, in reality, this is a bet you would have won 95% of the time for the last 40 years. Even better, if you were to make the bet that this year will be one of the hottest top 20 years in recorded history,
it is disrespectful to the victims of that time to call any neo-Nazi a third-week supporter. Daddies. This was bad times back in the day, and you can't compare this conflict.
Yeah, I can. I absolutely can. Yeah, you want to talk about the 15,000 that were shelled out of their homes, bro? Or does that number of people not matter to you? 15,000 dead Russians is okay for you. Fuck that shit.
Daddies. Sorry
If there
for
wasn't a global
upsetting.
warming,
You got your
you'd
opinion,
expect
bro.
to
I
have
got
about
mine.
a 5 in 6 chance of losing that bet. I mean, just for the
Fuck
record.
those goddamn blue and yellow flags.
1998 was
Fucking
the
Third Reich
hottest year
supporters.
on record.
Nazis,
Then
man.
2005
That's what
was
I
the
say.
hottest year on record. Then 2010, then 2014, then 2015, and now 2016 was the hottest year on
Daddies.
record. In reality,
Did I
this
say
is a
that it's
bet
okay?
you would have won every
No.
single year
Fried
for
drive.
the last 40 years.
Dude, they literally fucking have
Sure, this
swastikas
is a
tattooed
nice
on
way
them,
of getting
bro.
rich. If
Are you kidding
only
me?
you can
I
find a
just let him
climate
think
denier
Wall Street
who's got
is gonna
money
send him
and
a
is
brick.
really committed
Fucking
to the lie.
Tennessee.
However, I've got a greater sense of irony than that. I would donate all winnings to climate research.
Better go call Fort
So
Knox.
would you say,
Fried
Trump,
drive.
if you really believe this is a hoax, this would be easy money for you? It would produce, on average, an 80% return on investment per year. If only you believed that it was all a hoax.
Obama's talking about
Oh yeah, we can't
with
play
the
this
global
part
warming and that
because
a lot of
this
it's
is what gets
states
me in
will-
trouble right
You're
here. I
going to
can't
go
play any of that
and
shit.
subscribe. And
Yeah,
if you really
I
like
can't play any of that shit. So it'll get me in trouble because I get persecuted from YouTube. I am trying to find that video. Global warming. Oh God, Crowder again. That's hilarious. I remember I used to do YouTube shows. Someone would come in and literally use Steven Crowder as a source. And I'd be like, yeah, they'd be like, Crowder says blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, you're an idiot. 5 years back. Way back. I wonder if he did any other climate change stuff back here.
Big Merc 83. Hash keep it open.
$300,000 subscribers banned. YouTube subscriber bug video hits 2% approval. YouTube's new flagging heroes, 98% disapproval. Yeah, fucking heroes. YouTube heroes, remember that shit? 5 years ago. YouTube starting to shut down social justice warrior critics. That's funny. Arnrod drinks the feminist Kool-Aid. Oh, Thunderbird versus Arnrod. I want to see this. What?
And pulled up a half a dozen different dictionaries, all of which gave the exact same one and only definition that I use. A feminist is one who advocates equal rights and treatment for women. That's it. That's the only definition there is or ever was. Although there is a colloquialism that feminism is the radical idea that women are people too. Now, if you look at the actual definition in the negative, you'll see that that feminism is the radical idea that women are people too. Feminism is the radical idea that women are people too. Now, if you look at the actual definition in the negative, you'll see that a non-feminist is someone who does not advocate gender equality, meaning that they will accept gender inequality, which is exactly what sexism is, and I'm right again. If you are not a feminist, you are a sexist by definition.
Also by the people. It's also in practice.
Josh G.
Not just the dictionary definition, but the way
Is
that the
anyone
feminists
else having a
identify
hard time
themselves.
hearing?
What's the definition? I don't think it really needs to have a rigorous definition. I've never been one who's a fan of labels.
And they all still, in practice, still agree with the dictionary definition, so that the dictionary definition is verifiably correct according to the feminist movement itself.
Fried Drive.
I have never
Arnrod is the
been
dumbest
an
heathen mucker
equality
since that guy
feminist.
who fought a car with a sword.
Never,
Oh wait.
ever. Not just because I don't think the present condition of men is anything I need to aspire to.
Innate daddies. I disrespect any of that
Yeah,
actions
I'm
what
sorry.
let
There's just somebody
citizen
that's
suffer.
prattling on,
Ukraine
obviously
or
has no
Russia
idea what they're
doesn't
talking about, but
matter.
just
The
wants to be
worst
part of the
thing
hate
is how
group.
everyone is pretending Ukraine
Clearly,
is the poor
I am
democracy
not part of the
desperate
hate group,
in
but they
need of
want to
help.
I made this. Dude, United States military just said they want to make this a nice, long, drawn-out war. Yeah. It's bullshit, dude. Who wants that?
Associate me with one, even though they've had many different times where I've explained exactly what I mean. And clearly, I am not in the
I think this
confines.
proxy shit needs to stop.
Yeah, I think that too.
Of the ridiculous little boxes they've made up for me. Do you agree that that is the only definition of feminism?
Well,
Can you show me a different one?
Women's studies is generally associated with feminism as a paradigm for understanding self and society. Although there are many definitions of feminism and some disagreements concerning a specific definition.
Can you show me one that any feminist organization actually endorses?
Is that if feminism is all things to all people, then what is it? I mean, how do we locate it?
That's it. That's the only definition there is or ever was.
As a radical political movement in our lives, if everybody just makes of it, which doesn't mean that we should demonize, but we do have to be clear about what are the boundaries.
I've become increasingly worried about the direction mainstream internet feminism appears to be headed, at least in the West.
Unfortunately, many contemporary discourses in and around feminism tend to emphasize a form of hyper-individualism, which is informed by that neoliberal worldview.
If you can show me a second definition, then I will have to concede that there is another definition. Otherwise, that remains the only definition there is.
More and more, I hear variations on this idea that anything that any woman personally chooses to do is a feminist act. This attitude is often referred to as choice feminism.
That is representative of the movement. If they're using a different definition, then show me what that definition it is.
The Update is honored to be speaking to the acclaimed feminist and luminary of social activism, Germaine Greer. How do you define feminism, and do you believe the name of this movement matters, and if so, why?
I choose not to define feminism.
And all of your criticism against me for using that definition correctly and properly?
I choose not to define feminism.
Well, she's
because
an
to
idiot.
define something is to limit it. And you define in terms of the present.
She's
where
an
we are
idiot
now.
and she's a moron.
So you can't very easily see.
And Thunderfoot, you're making Arn Raw look smart here. Unfortunately, this woman sounds like a moron. So, okay, this is the point that Thunderfoot's trying to make. The point he's trying to make is that all these dingbats think that they are redefining feminism. Arn Raw says it's already defined. We already know what it is. He already stated the definition. He's like, and as long as you do shit like this, we're wasting fucking time. And you're being an idiot. And you're making an issue over something that doesn't exist. And you two girls right there, you're fucking morons too. This is stupid.
How the definition will change as time changes and priorities change.
Yes, you
Happy
haven't met
420.
what seems to be quite a large presence.
Haven't met
in
the
say,
weird
420.
outliers that people keep alluding to?
So if you believe any of the following, seeing diverse bodies, ethnicities, and gender expressions on screen and in magazines, surprise, you're probably a feminist.
Haven't met the weird outliers that people keep alluding to?
I think it's important to recognize that harassment is, as someone had mentioned, it's not just what is legal and illegal, right? Harassment is threats of violence, but it's also the day-to-day grind of you're a liar, you suck, you know, making all of these hate videos to attack us on a regular basis.
Liars that people keep alluding to, but I've met the bulk. I've met the mainstream, certainly.
Muslim feminists are very creatively working with Sharia commentary, working with the Quran to say, look, feminism is here in our own tradition. They're blending a history of Islam with the ideas of the Enlightenment very effectively to make a case for raising women's status and for women's autonomy and dignity.
But I've met the bulk. I've met the mainstream, certainly.
Before I say anything else, I have to thank you, Sabrina, for writing this. I think you've done a tremendous act of public service, and I'm genuinely very, very grateful.
A 5-month police investigation led to this conclusion.
There is no substantive basis to conclude what is described in that article happened that.
It is hard to read an article like this and avoid the conclusion that we live in a culture that hates women, just hates us.
I mean, part of the reason why I chose University of Virginia is because I felt that it was really representative of what was going on at campuses across the country. When I spoke to experts,
the rape activists on campus believed it. She spoke at the rape activist, seminars.
They told me that the scary truth is that if you dig deep enough, really in any campus, this is probably what you will find. That what happens at University of Virginia is probably not the exception. It's probably, this is the norm.
Men are not systematically oppressed based on their gender, and that's a fact.
But women are, and that's a fact too.
We could maybe talk more about these, but here are some solutions or possible solutions.
I don't know what those two girls just said.
On media, on media, television
back.
interviews, on platforms.
Probably this is the norm.
Men are not systematically oppressed based on their gender, and that's a fact.
But women are, and that's a fact too.
We could maybe talk more about these, but here are some solutions.
Men aren't systematically oppressed based on their gender.
Or possible solutions. On media, on media, television interviews, on platforms and political meetings, at any presentations. If there's no woman speaker, then the event does not take place. The interview is foregone, the political meeting is canceled. One cannot get around the rule by using a woman as an MC. That's merely window dressing. Also, women get to speak first. In classroom discussions, in question periods, and at public events. Men should not be allowed to monopolize these forums.
What? Women get to speak first? Fuck you, bitch. That's not feminism. That's just being anti-man. You know, I guess whoever speaks first at a speaker thing or whatever, it should be determined by if someone wants to go first. You ask them, does anybody want to go first? You know, or but maybe you put the most important speaker last. You know, who cares what their fucking gender is? Suck my dick.
There's so many things, right? We could like brainstorm a million ways that we could create these structural changes. And creating structural change means people have to follow those structures.
I think that I'm doing this right now in my classrooms, in the management department. Women get to speak first. I think that is a primary issue that we actually have to look at, how we do question and answers, and we can start today.
And nobody in the audience is like saying, oh, look, they're clapping. What a bunch of fucking idiots. Women get to speak first.
Like, if the definition of the men's rights activist
women
wasn't
get
that they
to
were a
speak
hate
first.
group.
This is what men's rights look like. This is what
Shut up.
You should be fucking ashamed of yourself. You're fucking scum. You are fucking scum. Fucking rape apologist, incest supporting, woman hating, fucking scum. Fucking scum.
That specifically existed only to counteract feminism.
We're not super interested in talking to you, first of all, but basically we're here to shut down an event that is promoting the patriarchy.
But what part of the men's rights movement are not exclusively extremist? Can you show me anybody that is representative of feminism as a movement that objects to advocating men's rights as well?
Oh, because like apparently men have been oppressed for being men.
I'm kidding, but she's not, right, Billy?
That's not
Have you checked Instagram for women and maybe one for men? Go down to the gravesite.
That within the feminism movement, that any extremist that holds deviant views that actually go against the definition should and really could only be adequately corrected by within the feminism movement and not outside of it.
Opinion, what's the cure to our westernized kind of idea that it's okay to catcall at women and that sort of thing? What is the solution in your opinion?
What is the solution to catcalling? Certainly not walking around in my underwear.
Dude,
deviant views.
Did you guys catch that shit? Did you catch the hypocrisy behind that last clip? Did you guys see that? That was priceless, man. Dude, watch this clip again, guys. Listen to the question.
Movement and not outside of it.
Opinion, what's the cure to our westernized kind of idea that it's okay to catcall at women and that sort of thing? What is the solution in your opinion?
What is the solution to catcalling? Certainly not walking around in my underwear.
So she's putting down catcalling, right? Well, someone beeped their horn at them and all the girls are like, hey! Oh, and that clip is so fucking revealing of those girls right there. You know, they want to go march because they claim they're oppressed because guys are catcalling them. While somebody is tooting their horn at them with basically the same thing, and they're like, hey! Let's watch that one more time.
Not outside of it.
Opinion, what's the cure to our westernized kind of idea that it's okay to catcall at women and that sort of thing? What is the solution in your opinion?
What is the solution to catcalling? Certainly not walking around in my underwear.
That holds deviant views that actually go against the definition should and really could only be adequately corrected.
Here's the problem.
Within the
Here's the problem. There's feminism, which I am a feminist, of course. And then there's all these psychos out there that call themselves feminists and go say and do stupid shit. So, and that's different. You know, they're supporting women and loving women and wanting them to be equal and be treated fairly. You know, and that's what, of course, Arn Ra says feminism is. But then there's all these crazy motherfuckers out there calling themselves feminists. And that's a problem. I like that Arn Ra wants...
Modern feminism is all about taking down the man, dude.
No, those are the psychos. So see, Arn Ra's making a point.
But that is the modern fucking with Anita Sarkeesian and shit like that. That bitch that was on earlier, she fucking ruined multiple fucking video games because she was called in as a fucking consultant. And then all the fucking pretty girls was taking out of video games because gamers should not fucking man gaze and all that shit. Look into Anita Sarkeesian, and she's a big fucking scammer, dude. Fucking raked in fucking millions of dollars to do a YouTube show. She did 2 episodes of about the tropes in video games and how women is fucking portrayed in video games and how fucking bad it is. It's really fucking far out, man.
Okay, so
look into her, Anita Sarkeesian. She
all
is
I'll say
really
is this, Cyber. She's not every woman, bro. She's just some fucking psycho.
I know, but she is that fucking kind of spokesperson for the not real feminism, but the modern fucking way of feminism. You know?
She wants to be, but it's what Arn Ra is saying here is that that's not the definition of feminism. Feminism is not.
It's not. I agree, but
feminism is not putting men down. Feminism is supporting women and having equal rights. That's all. So, you know, all these other psychos, like I just said, aren't feminists. They're fucking psychos. Right? She's a fucking, this one you're talking about.
Yeah, but they go
she's a
under
fucking
the
psycho.
flag as feminist, you know.
Yeah,
and
well, you know, it's like Republicans.
Portrayed like that in the media, you know.
It's just like a Republican calling themselves a Republican when they're a fucking neo-Nazi, you know.
That's true, yeah.
They're psychos.
Feminism movement and not outside of it.
This video game character is dressed too sexily. I don't like it. Change it. I'm dressed too sexily and you don't like it? Stop oppressing me.
If you are not a feminist, you are a sexist by definition.
Rape is bad, and if you're not a feminist, you're pro-rape.
Realize that if you look up under the Southern Poverty Law Center, you will actually see the men's rights activists and a number of other anti-feminist organizations officially listed as hate groups. So it's not just me saying that, it's his ignorant ass not knowing that.
I made this. We literally have neo-Nazis that vote for Donald Trump in this country. Don't deny that shit, bro. You're in denial right now. All right? I made this. You're in denial right now. If you don't think that there's literally neo-Nazis in the United States that call themselves Republicans and support and vote for Donald Trump, you're fucking psychotic. Okay? I got news for you. There are.
Well, nobody has to save you because you're a fucking white man who gets to do whatever he wants.
Why don't you Google this? I made this. Go Google Nazis for Trump. Go Google white nationalists for Trump. Go Google all kinds of shit like that. You'll find all kinds of shit.
This space, right? Okay. So I'm saying no, you do not have permission to walk around videotaping women of color and acting like you can do that.
I've heard rumors of, I've never encountered anybody like this, because if I ever did encounter them, I would certainly shut them down and correct them. But I've heard rumors of unnamed individuals who believe that feminists have to also be communists.
By focusing on individual women with a very narrow individual notion of empowerment. It erases the reality that some choices that women make have an enormous negative impact on other women's lives.
Let's assume those people exist. Do you consider those people feminist or not?
I couldn't, because how could a feminist be promoting communism as that doesn't fit the definition at all?
Okay. Now, this might
if you talk about all of the mainstream of the movement, how would communism ever become part of the conversation?
So, when we talk about how to be a feminist, for me, that means being committed to something much larger than ourselves. It's understanding what role you play in our collective movements for liberation. It's re-examining our desires and interests and understanding how those are often shared by how they're often shaped, maybe shared, who knows, by capitalism, patriarchy, and white supremacy.
Well, obviously, if you've defined it to be that, then that's what you say.
It's not me to define it. It's the only definition there is.
Wow. Wow, dude, that was heavy. I'm glad you guys watched that with me, man. That was fun to watch. Thank you. I hope you guys enjoyed the hour. I love you guys. Thank you for watching. Hashtag keep it open. I will leave you with this right here. This beautiful image of the pond, the little fountain that I cleaned up today. There you go. Look what I did. Look what I did. I did that.
Hell yeah.
And there's another nozzle on that pump down there pumping water. I could make another, I just get a hose and run a waterfall over the backside, over those rocks that are on the back. Just make a nice flat waterfall. Like, I know how to do it. I just get some flat rocks and do it. I could do it. Just get some hose. I need some hose.
It's fucking awesome.
Need some fucking hose. I get some hose. I could do it. It's awesome. You're welcome, Stella. Thanks, Cyber. All right, the rest of you guys, I love y'all. Take care. Hashtag keep it open. You guys are great. Thank you for the 2 keep it opens from Josh. All right.